Hello and welcome to the SAP Data Dude series episode 2, and today we are going to have a look at the SAP ODP deltas in Matillion. Many people still ask me what the relevance is of the deltas and whether it's really as easy as people say it is, and in this short video I would like to demonstrate that yes, it is really easy to use the ODP framework to get deltas in. Just a very quick recap on operational data provisioning. It is a SAP delivered framework and it provides a single entry point to get data out of SAP, and it has different benefits, but today we're looking at the Delta administration, which is completely handled by SAP. You can just ask SAP, give me all the changes since the last request, and then SAP will provide those records for you, which is ideal for data warehousing scenarios. I'm using Matillion. If you're not familiar with the SAP components in Matillion, then do look at the previous episode, which is here somewhere, I think, a link of the SAP Data Dude, where all the SAP connections are explained. Today we're looking at the ODP component, SAP ODP component. And I've already configured this one. As an example, we're using the customer data extraction. And by default, this comes in as a full data load. And that really is quite straightforward. When you run that job, the request goes to SAP, and SAP will just provide all the customer master data for you in JSON format. So my target database is a Snowflake database. So looking at Snowflake, the JSON result set in Snowflake looks like this, where each record actually contains a number of customer data records. You can query this as semi-structured data in Snowflake directly if you want to, but in most cases you want to unnest this data into SQL tables. So what we do for that is run a little job to get the JSON data, here, unnest this data and write the data in a different target table. So that I'll quickly run that job. Back to Snowflake. This is my target table, and I'll be looking at an example here for a specific customer number as well, because that's the customer number we will change, or the customer we will change later on as an example of demonstrating the delta. But these are the basics for getting a full load data set. Now, if I want to create a delta subscription on this data set, I can simply change my setting in the ODP component and change from a full load to a delta load. And if I do that now, I expect that I will not get any records through because no changes have been made in the system since my creating the subscription. Right, I've got 0 pages. So that is my delta. There are no changes. This all works. What I want to do next is make a change in SAP and show you that the change records come through simply by running this component again. So here I am in SAP, and I will start a transaction where I can maintain the customer master data. It's called Business Partner in In SAP, a customer is a business partner, a vendor is a business partner as well. You can have different business partner types. Anyway, I'm looking for business partner 101009. I want to call up the customer record. And here I can see all the information related to the customer, the customer's name, search term, things like address, and many other properties. If I want to make a change, I have to go into change mode. I can change, for example, the name of the customer. There we go. I'll change the short name as well. And I'll change the address as well. Now I save this data. And once the changes have been saved, I can immediately go back to Matillion, run my Delta process, and this should now pull across only one record. Let's have a look at how that goes. It's one page, so again, this is a JSON file. So what does that look like? The JSON file this time looks like this. That should only be one record. Yeah. And when I look at that record in detail, I can see that my changed data has come across. Now I want to merge this data with my standard data warehouse table. In a data warehouse scenario, you want to decide whether you want to timestamp this, whether you want to always only keep the latest data, if you want to keep both records. There are different scenarios possible depending on your strategy and your requirements. But anyway, I can simply run this job to merge my data net for now. And then when I look at the SQL table, I have now two records here. Again, you can decide if that's what you want, two records with a timestamp, or if you prefer to just override your data. Both scenarios are valid. And that's how simple a delta is. So you don't have to maintain a high watermark, you don't have to put in a timestamp, anything like that. You just request SAP for the latest changes, and that's all. A few things to be aware of. There are different types of delta behavior, so you can either get just the latest image, or you can get the full change history, or there are other scenarios as well. So you have to check if the data source provides the right kind of delta for your requirements. Not all ODP sources are delta enabled. If not, for smaller data sets, that's usually not an issue. And although ODP is really, really great, it is not the answer to everything. So if you have quite extraordinary requirements for high volume and real time, ODP might not be the answer. And that's it for now. The deltas, SAP ODP deltas in Matillion. It's almost magic. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.